Right now on Denver 7 News at 8 o'clock on Local 3, a Colorado judge wants to know where the updates are on treatment for the King Super shooting suspect deemed too sick for trial.
Plus, the tough test President Biden is facing as Russia refuses to back down from its buildup of troops along the border with Ukraine.
Also, more alcohol options could soon be in stock at your neighborhood grocery store if voters approve a new proposal. So we're going 360 on the wine debate. On National Drink Wine Day today.
It is.
Yes. Happy Friday to you.
It's Friday, too. What a perfect day. Going to be a great day to enjoy anything you'd like to enjoy. Outside even, maybe, Lisa.
You could, this weekend, you could. 50s, even 60s, Saturday and Sunday. Today might still be on the chilly side. Let's talk coffee before wine first. Here's a look at your wake-up forecast. We're in the 20s this morning. We're going to be at just above freezing by 9 o'clock, and then low 40s right around noon. So a really nice forecast, and it's going to warm up a lot faster today. Look at this gorgeous shot. This is from Long's Peak there. So in Rocky Mountain National Park, we're seeing some sunshine, a beautiful start to the day, blue skies. Some mountain towns seeing some cloud cover right now, and we'll see even a little light snow potentially over some of the high mountain passes. But look at the winds. That'll be one of the bigger concerns this weekend. Wind speeds are at around 20 to near 30, 35 miles per hour there in Estes Park. It's going to be that westerly wind, though, that's going to push our temperatures here in town well above normal. And we're going to start to eat away at some of that snow, especially on the side streets. Here's a look at our highs. Boulder today 46, Evergreen a really mild 42, and some upper 40s close to 50 here in Denver. Skies are clear right now. We are tracking a beautiful weekend, but more snow and some bitter cold on the way. I'll show you that on the Super 7 Day, Micah, coming up.
On the bright side, we need the precipitation, so I won't be too mad at you, Lisa. We have a couple of problem spots on the traffic map this morning. We'll start here at I-70 and I-25. Mainly this crash is impacting eastbound lanes on I-70. Not too bad of a backup at this hour, but we'll see how that progresses as things pick up. Right here at I-270 and I-76, we also have a crash. I'm learning that traffic is backed all the way up to I-25, and then a little bit further north, still have a crash here. This one is at a Highway 2 in Quebec. Quick check of your drive times. Westbound I-70 from Pena Boulevard to I-25, 27 minutes. Not great, but an improvement. It was about 30 minutes, I'd say 20 minutes ago. Eastbound, running about 20 minutes. If we head a little bit further north, westbound I-270 from I-70 to I-25, 14 minutes. Eastbound, 17 minutes. And if you're headed out to the mountains this weekend, your traffic is looking pretty good on this Friday morning. There were some backups on US 40 up to Winter Park, but that has since cleared.
Thank you, Micah. Colorado's largest grocery stores are now teaming up to get wine on their shelves.
A group submitted a pair of ballot initiatives yesterday. Once the language is finalized, it'll be up to voters in November. So this morning we're going 360 with what's in these proposals. Also looking back at the last big alcohol debate, which was over beer in stores. And another initiative one local winemaker wants voters to weigh in on, allowing wine to be shipped in-state.
Denver 7's Colette Bordelon kicks off our coverage this morning live in Denver. And Colette, grocery stores think convenience will win over voters.
That's right. Just picture this, Brian. If you're on your way home from work and you want to stop and grab a bottle of wine, you could do so at the same spot where you're picking up things for dinner. That's if Colorado voters decide they want to see wine sold alongside beer inside of places like King Soopers and Safeway. It could all be happening as early as next year. The Denver Business Journal reports Colorado's largest grocery stores have backed 2 ballot initiatives designed to put wine in the aisles. Beer's been allowed inside of Colorado grocers since 2019. The Business Journal says only one of the initiatives is expected to hit the November ballot. They think it'll be controversial based on the history of changes to alcohol laws in the state. The ballot language will have to be approved in just a little more than a month. It'll need more than 100,000 signatures and support for it to go to a vote in November. But if it does go that far, we're expecting some opposition from locally owned liquor stores who might say that this change would hurt their own sales. That's the same argument they used when beer was being put inside of Colorado grocery stores. Live in Denver, Colette Bordelon, Denver 7.
Yeah, a couple of different sides to that. Thank you, Colette. A reminder, of course, it took quite a while for full-strength beer to be allowed in Colorado grocery stores. Lawmakers didn't approve it until 2019. Until then, grocery and convenience stores were limited to beer with 4% alcohol by volume. And there was even a time in Colorado's history not too long ago where you couldn't buy alcohol on Sundays.
There's also a push to give Colorado winemakers more direct access to their customers. Unlike other winery licenses in Colorado, the Vintner's restaurant license can't ship wine in state, only out of state. There's a newly proposed bill on the Colorado legislature that would change that. It would allow winemakers to deliver their wine directly to Colorado customers using common postal carriers like FedEx or UPS. To-go alcohol is sticking around. Governor Polis signed a bill into law allowing alcohol for takeout and delivery through July of 2025. There are some specifications on the amount, though. Licensed businesses can sell customers up to 2 standard bottles of wine, up to one 750 milliliter bottle of spirits, and up to 44 ounces of malt liquors or hard cider. That's from 7 a.m. to midnight each day.
Boulder's indoor mask mandate ends at 5 p.m. today for public spaces and schools. However, CU Boulder says it will continue to require masks indoors for now. Denver Public Schools will require masks for 1 more week. Their mandate will end after school on the 25th. Another sign Colorado's COVID numbers are improving. The state has ended its crisis standards of care. It's because of a decline in COVID cases and hospitalizations. The guidelines had been in effect since November for hospitals and since January for emergency medical services. The crisis standards meant that only the most severe patients were taken to the hospital by ambulance or taken to another healthcare facility instead of a hospital.
Some breaking news this morning. Police in Canada's capital city of Ottawa say they've started arresting truckers protesting COVID restrictions. More than 300 trucks have been parked near the city's Parliament building for about a month now. Canada's House of Commons canceled work today ahead of the crackdown. Police have already arrested 2 of the protest leaders. And heading to Ukraine this morning, breaking earlier, a separatist leader in the eastern part of the country said civilians are starting to evacuate the border region.
Yeah, the new developments are coming as intelligence shows Russia is sending more troops to the area. ABC's Mary Bruce has the latest.
This morning, top U.S. officials holding urgent meetings with key allies in Europe as Russia appears even closer to invading Ukraine. Secretary of State Blinken delaying his trip to deliver a last-minute address to the United Nations.
I am here today, not to start a war, but to prevent one.
America's top diplomat peeling back the curtain on U.S. intelligence, accusing Russia of planning a full-scale invasion.
It's unfolding right now, today, as Russia takes steps down the path to war and reissued the threat of military action.
U.S. officials are expecting a worst-case scenario, bracing for Vladimir Putin's version of shock and awe. Russian troops going into Ukraine from at least 3 sides. Missiles spewing across the sky. Special forces attacking the capital city of Kyiv, armed with a list of military and government officials to target.
My sense this will happen within the next several days.
President Biden saying Russia is increasing its troops along the border, not backing away as the Kremlin claims, and that they are looking to create an excuse to go in. The U.S. warning that Russia could stage a fake terrorist bombing or even a real chemical attack against civilians to justify an invasion.
And Russia says they have no intention to invade, but many experts agree it seems clear that Russia is also not interested in a compromise or de-escalation. In a letter to the U.S., Russia pressed hardline demands, which includes that Ukraine never be allowed to join NATO. And if those demands aren't met, the country says it will be forced to take unspecified military measures.
Next Tuesday will mark 11 months since the mass shooting at the Table Mesa King Soopers in Boulder. 10 people were killed. Their families are still waiting for justice. The trial is on hold while the suspect undergoes more mental evaluations, and they can't proceed until he's found competent.
Want to bring in Denver 7's Veronica Acosta this morning because prosecutors and the judge are getting impatient about the lack of updates on treatment for the suspect.
And the judge just wants answers here. Just this Wednesday, she ordered representatives from the Colorado Mental Health Institute go ahead and explain why they haven't been reporting the suspect's condition over to the court. So this is the state mental hospital in Pueblo where Ahmad Elisa is staying. The criminal case against Elisa stalled last year when it was decided he wasn't competent to stand trial. So he went here to that state mental hospital. Our partners over at the Denver Post reported the hospital was required to file reports about the likelihood the treatment Elisa was receiving could improve his mental competency and the criminal case against him could continue. But the judge says that didn't happen. Elisa is facing more than 100 charges, including 10 counts of first-degree murder in connection with the March 22nd shooting at the South Boulder King Soopers. The Post did reach out to the state mental hospital for comment on this entire situation. A spokesperson said, quote, "The department will adhere to its statutory obligations." So here's what's next in all of this. Under state law, after sending a defendant for a competency hearing, a judge has 91 days to review that case. The hospital has to provide a report 10 days before that review. Now, the judge sent the King Soopers shooting suspect to the mental hospital back in December. His review hearing is set for March 15th. But before that, there is a hearing about the hospital's reporting. That's scheduled just 5 days before March 10th. In studio, I'm Veronica Acosta, number 7.
Thank you, Veronica. Still ahead at 8, the investigation now calling on former President Trump and several of his kids to testify under oath.
How soon a resolution is needed in the ongoing MLB labor dispute to ensure first pitch on opening day isn't delayed.
Also looking at Frisco this morning as a lot of people are headed to the mountains for a big ski weekend. Micah has an update on the traffic into the high country and across the metro this morning.